Okay, so due to network problem, so I could not go on. Okay, let's start. So life skills required for successfully leading everybody life. So now let's talk about 4 C's like critical thinking, creative and innovation, collaboration, communication. So among them, so little bit earlier, I have discussed about these topics. Okay, about these topics like communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. So these are the things an individual must have for the future creativity. And later, so IMT, information literacy. Then I for information literacy, M for media literacy, and T for technology literacy. So as at the beginning, I shared my views regarding technology. So I'm here, you are all in your individual rooms, but we can hear each other, we can see each other. Like that only, one person must have that mind who can have information being anywhere, and that person must have knowledge regarding the media literacy, must have knowledge regarding the literacy of media, because without knowing these things, technology, media, information, so I can have information regarding anything just being in my room. So these are the skills one person or an individual must have. And FITPS, so these are also given importance in the learning process or in the skills like flexibility and adaptability. Then leadership and responsibility, initiative and self-direction, and social and cross-cultured interactions. So these are the things one must have. Okay, let's know about FITPS. What is that? What is that? So flexibility. So if a person is not flexible with the present situation, so whatever the situation is, it is the best way. It is the best way to cope up with if any situation is against me or adverse, then I have to accept that situation, or I have to adjust in that situation, and I have to go out with that situation. I have to suppress that situation or overcome that situation. If I'm not able to overcome that situation, then I have to adjust with that situation. And who are having that kind of mind, and that person is having flexibility in his mind, so one person has to adapt that situation, whatever the situation is. And one person has to have problem solving mind, like wherever that person is, like identifying the relevant piece of information when faced with a mass of data. So like that only earlier I said. So even a critical mind, so one critical mind have to have some some skills to be considered as a skilled person, like fairness and open-minded. So one person must have with him fairness, and that person must be open-minded. And number 2, activeness. So one mind is very lazy, and that person is okay, is not mm, that person is not able to work more or want to continue more, then that person is not able or would not come in the category of skilled persons. So that person must be active, must have activeness, and if that person is being informed, well informed, then only he would be considered one skilled person in that century. And number three, so willingness to question or to entertain doubts. So if any mind or young mind learns something and he doesn't know whether that learning process is done efficiently, then his skill is not working or not proper with the present situations. That mind must have some questions to ask always. If something happens, why happens, and how long it would go on. Like these things, one young mind must have, must like pick out some questions in his mind always. So one young mind must be inquisitive so that he can have more information, and that person must be so enthusiastic to learn something, always curious to know, eager to know anything or whatever that person is doing. And that mind must be independent so that he can think independently, not depending other persons. If a mind can think in independent way, then only that person is able to survive or can cope up with 21st century. So one person has to recognize and assess the values, peer and pressure and media influences. So all of things one person must have. And creative, and one mind must be creative and innovative. So if a mind does not want to explore anything or want to create anything, then his total skill is not working condition. So that's why that person must have creativity and innovative mind. And then like collaborations, which I earlier described. So about the communication. So communication. So what does actually communication describe? Like communication refers to the ability to express, one's opinions, desire, needs, apprehension, etc. Oneself appreciate verbally and non-verbally. So that means one person can communicate with another person. If that communication or that connection is not done, then that communication is not done. So regarding leadership and okay, so my next point is leadership and responsibility. So if a person or an individual okay doesn't have any leadership quality or responsibility, then that person is not able to work in that century. So a person must have capability of being a leader. Like that person have to lead, or that person has to lead or team, effective team management. That person must have effective team management in relation to real world challenge. These skills teach a child how to support the development of key personal qualities such as perseverance, being committed. Okay, and the next point is initiative and self-directions. So if like any leader or any person doesn't take any kind of initiative, that person is having knowledge regarding the subject, but he is not taking any kind of initiative, then his knowledge is in vain. He is not able, he would not be called a skillful persons. So that mind or that individual must be initiative and self-directive. So that person has to take initiative to do something new, and that individual must have quality of directing other persons in the correct way, in the right directions. And my another point is productivity and accountability. So if a mind is not productive well, then that mind would not be called a skillful mind. That mind must be productive and accountability, so that that mind can fulfill his job or his work accountably. And then, like I said, I have described that point earlier, social and cross-culture interaction. So if we just don't go on with the other cultures, then or other traditions, then our skill will not permit to be called a skillful persons. So we have to always adjust with the situation. So whatever the situation is, if that situation is in working place, we have to adjust. If it is out of working place, then we have to adjust. So that mind would be called a mature mind and working mind with the present situation. So what is the need of 21st century? Okay, so I'm skipping some topics because I don't have much time to discuss that thing. So CBSE has given some activities for the children or students. So actually whatever I have described earlier, so these are all for young minds. So that means students or children. So who would take in future our world? So whatever today we are doing, so tomorrow we won't be able to do anymore. So as we are all teachers, so we have to make some young minds very skillful, so that tomorrow they can lead, they can lead our world in effective way. They can be good leaders, good workers, good teachers, good professors, like whatever we can see in our society. Okay, I'm just going to say one by one these points, like CBSE activities. So by following them, so we can make creative mind or skillful students for the future. So like one, mandatory art integrations. So while we are describing any topic, if we just describe that topic with any imagination or with any picture, then, or if we can visualize the situation, whatever the like math, science, whatever the thing is, if we can connect ourselves with his mind, the way that our student understand, so that mind can learn a lot better than like better than like in general teaching. So mandatory art integration, so we have to integrate art. And number two, making experimental learning as mandatory pedagogy. So experimental learning, so we have to do that also. Okay, so as I don't have much time, so just I'm describing these points, like Heritage India quiz. So is when students can participate over their Heritage India quiz. From there, student can learn a lot. Then so, science exhibition, CBSE is conducting often science exhibitions. And number five, art exhibitions, so students can participate in art exhibition. Even CBSE is conducting storytelling quiz or these programs. Number seven, Aryabhatta Ganit challenge. So if anyone is interested in mathematics, then he can join in that quiz. And number eight, reading challenge. So who can read effectively in well manner? So for that only CBSE is conducting that kind of program. So number nine is skill education. CBSE has introduced different subjects like artificial intelligence, yoga, etc. Two hands skills, because in that time, okay, in today's times, so we are stressful with our work. To have stress less time, so we can follow like yoga. Even we can do anything or independently. So we can CBSE is teaching us artificial intelligence, so that we can have our information as soon as possible. And creative and critical thinking, for that only CBSE is giving platform to see young minds, young talents. And science program test also. Okay, so by saying that, I would like to conclude my topic, and I would like to thank principal sir, and academic insert sir, and my fellow participants who have given that much time to listen to me, or and technical team who supported me in every field. Whenever like I was going to talk about, I just felt a little bit problem, so at that time they helped me. Now I would like to give uh,
So thank you, all of you, all the participants who rendered their valuable time to listen this program. And thank you, our resource person, Mr. Tapan Kumar Barman, for his informative discussion. And at the same time, I'd like to thank our technical professionals, RR sir and Mr. Ajit Kumar Singh, the way they have supported time to time and the way they have guided us. Definitely they need a lot of appreciation. And above all, I would like to thank our respected principal sir, whose time to time guidelines and supervision is enabling us to perform this kind of program. Thank you. Good evening. to all of you.